Hello and welcome to SeavorCharted's Autumn Budget 2024 update. Today we'll break down the key tax and economic changes announced by the Chancellor Rachel Reeves. This is the first budget presented by a Labour government since 2010 and it's set to impact individuals, families and businesses alike. I'm Graham and this is Sarah. Today we'll guide you through the major updates.
The Chancellor delivered a highly anticipated and lengthy speech today, outlining 40 billion in tax rises, with 25 billion to be shouldered by employers. The Chancellor emphasised restoring financial stability, safeguarding public services, fixing the NHS and rebuilding Britain. There was a significant amount of speculation on changes that may arise in the budget, and a number of those have been implemented.
So let's start with the budget's major announcement, which is anticipated to raise an additional 25 billion from businesses per year from April 2025. This is an increase in employers' national insurance with a rate increase from 13.8% to 15%. Additionally, the threshold at which employers will begin paying national insurance will be reduced from 9,100 to 5,000, therefore paying national insurance sooner. As an example, an employer who currently pays an employee a salary of 9,100 per year, this would be a national insurance increase of £615 at a cost to the employer for that employee. However, to lessen the impact, the employment allowance, currently worth £5,000, will increase to £10,500, and it will now be available to a wider group of businesses. Employers should plan for a significant increase in their national insurance bill from April 2025. Now, regarding income tax, the Chancellor announced that there would be no increases to the basic, higher or additional rates of income tax. However, income tax thresholds are frozen until April 2028, with adjustments for inflation planned thereafter. As the thresholds are frozen, more individuals are likely to pay tax at a higher rate.
Next up, changes to capital gains tax. Coming into effect today, the lower capital gains tax rate will rise from 10% to 18%, and the higher rate from 20% to 24%. It's also worth noting that capital gains tax rates on disposals of residential property will remain unchanged and are now aligned with these rates. For qualifying disposal of business asset disposal relief and investors relief remain at 10% for now, but these will rise to 14% in April 2025 and to 18% from April 2026. Additionally, the lifetime limit on business asset disposal relief remains set at £1 million.
In stamp duty land tax, the rate for additional properties will increase from 3% to 5%, effective from the 31st of October 2024. This will also apply to properties purchased by limited companies. With regards to inheritance tax, the nil rate threshold will remain at £325,000 until 2030, or £500,000 if passing a home to a descendant. Starting in 2027, unspent pensions left as part of an estate will be subject to inheritance tax. There are also big changes to inheritance tax for agricultural, cultural and business property relief. The first 1 million of assets will be exempt from inheritance tax, with a 50% relief for assets above this limit. This is an effective tax rate of 20% above a limit of 1 million. Consequently, this will bring more agricultural and business property within the charge to inheritance tax, where previously this may have been exempt.
The Chancellor also addressed wage increases. From April 2025, the national living wage will rise by 6.7%, bringing it to £12.21 per hour for workers aged 21 and over, adding around £1,400 per year for full-time workers. For workers aged 18 to 20, the national minimum wage will increase by 16.3%, reaching £10 per hour. The weekly earnings limit applicable for carers allowance will be raised to £195, while the basic and new state pensions will see a 4.1% increase from April 2025.
Now for business tax reliefs and investments. To support business investment, the Chancellor maintained capital expensing and the annual investment allowance at current rates and thresholds. These measures allow businesses to offset investments like IT and machinery against their tax liabilities. Additionally, corporation tax remains capped at 25% for the length of the current Parliament. There are also important changes to business rates. From 26-27, there will be a lower business rates multiplier for high street retail, hospitality and leisure properties. It's intended this will be funded by a higher rate for high value properties. Additionally, the small business rates relief multiplier will be frozen from 25-26. Qualifying businesses in retail, hospitality and leisure can claim a 40% business rates relief capped at 110,000.
On the education front, VAT will now apply to private school fees starting in January 2025, and the private schools will lose business rate relief from April 2025. The Chancellor also announced substantial investments in school breakfast programmes and reforms for special educational needs. The non-dom tax regime is set to be abolished, with domicile removed from tax terminology starting in 2025. A new residence-based scheme will be introduced to encourage investment into the UK and to make sure that everyone who makes their home in the UK pays their taxes here. In terms of duties, fuel duty will stay frozen with an extension of the temporary 5% cut for another year. Additionally, incentives for electric vehicles remain with a 100% first-year allowance for zero-emission cars and EV charging stations.
Finally, the Chancellor announced significant funding to modernise HMRC. In addition, including interest rate hikes on unpaid taxes, and also better protection for employees, such as improvements to maternity and paternity leave. To sum up, this budget introduces several changes that will impact taxes, wages and investments by businesses across the board.
Thank you for tuning in today. As always, we're here to support you in navigating these updates. For more information or to discuss specific concerns, please reach out to us directly. You can also find a summary and detailed analysis of the budget on our website at www.SeavorChartered.co.uk. We'll of course continue to keep you informed as further details emerge.
Well done.